Something seismic just shook the stock market, and if you aren't paying attention, you're missing out on what could be the investment of the decade. Nvidia, a name synonymous with cutting-edge innovation, reported staggering financial results that not only eclipsed expert predictions but also lit up a path to potentially exponential growth. With artificial intelligence driving the frenzy, Nvidia's astonishing $30.04 billion in revenue this quarter has everyone, from Wall Street analysts who predicted only about $28.9 billion in revenue to tech enthusiasts, abuzz. This isn't just another earnings report, it's a bellwether for the future of technology and investment, and it all culminated in new technology that was introduced to supercharge AI into the future. But let's not spill all the beans just yet. In this video, we'll delve into the monumental achievements and future expectations surrounding Nvidia, as well as the ripple effect it's having on other tech giants like Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Google. Buckle up, because this is one roller coaster you won't want to miss. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
I think the market wanted more on Blackwell. They wanted more specifics, and I'm trying to go through all of the call and the transcript. It seems like, very clearly this was a production issue and not a fundamental design issue with Blackwell. But the deployment in the real world, what does that look like tangibly? And is there a sort of delay in the timeline of that deployment and thus revenue from that product?
Let's see. That's just the fact that I was so clear and it wasn't clear enough kind of tripped me up there right away. And so let's see. We made a mass change to improve the yield. Functionality of Blackwell is wonderful. We're sampling Blackwell all over the world today. We show people, giving tours to people of the Blackwell systems that we have up and running. You could find pictures of Blackwell systems all over the web. We have started volume production. Volume production will ship in Q4. Q4, we will have billions of dollars of Blackwell revenues, and we will ramp from there. The demand for Blackwell far exceeds its supply, of course, in the beginning, because the demand is so great. But we're going to have lots and lots of supply, and we will be able to ramp starting in Q4. We have billions of dollars of revenues, and we'll ramp from there into Q1, into Q2, and through next year. We're going to have a great next year as well.
Nvidia's recent financial results have injected a potent dose of adrenaline into an already fervent stock market. The company's reported $30.04 billion in revenue over the past 3 months signifies an astronomical 122% jump from the previous year, a feat that not even the most optimistic analysts had predicted. Despite the company's shares dipping more than 3% in after-hours trading, it becomes evident that this chipmaker is a force to be reckoned with, and the future is nothing but bright for Nvidia and its supporters. Founder and CEO Jensen Huang's earnings call was replete with exciting revelations and forward-looking statements. One such claim was his expectation that Nvidia would ship more chips next year than in its entire 31-year history. The reason why our velocity is so high is simultaneously because the complexity of the model is growing, Huang explained, and we want to drive its costs down and increase the scale of AI models to reach extraordinary usefulness and realize the next industrial revolution. Jensen understands how the market is flowing, and his expectation is nothing short of dominating that whole flow. So let us see exactly how he plans to do it and why he has so much faith. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market. So click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now back to the video.
Jensen, you explained clearly that demand to build generative AI product on models, or even at the GPU level, is greater than current supply. In Blackwell's case in particular, explain the supply dynamics to me for your products and whether you see an improvement sequentially quarter on quarter or at some point by the end of fiscal year into next year.
Well, the fact that we're growing would suggest that our supply is improving, and our supply chain is quite large, one of the largest supply chains in the world. We have incredible partners, and they're doing a great job supporting us in our growth. As you know, we're one of the fastest growing technology companies in history, and none of that would have been possible without very strong demand, but also very strong supply. We're expecting Q3 to have more supply than Q2. We're expecting Q4 to have more supply than Q3, and we're expecting Q1 to have more supply than Q4. And so I think our supply condition going into next year will be a large improvement over this last year.
Analysts like Jacob Bourne from eMarketer acknowledged that Nvidia is benefiting from a paradox. Big tech firms are investing heavily in AI, driving demand for Nvidia's chips, while simultaneously developing their own silicon. It's a tech world's version of a love-hate relationship. Nvidia's next-gen AI chips, codenamed Blackwell, may face a slight delay, but the current line, Hopper, continues to fly off the shelves, further boosting Nvidia's data center revenue by 154% from the previous year to reach $26.3 billion. And let's not brush aside the giant tech customers, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Google, all of whom leverage Nvidia's AI chips to enhance their models. Recent earnings reports from these tech behemoths highlight increased capital spending on AI, validating the insatiable demand for Nvidia's groundbreaking hardware, with Nvidia holding a colossal 6% of the total value of the S&P 500 and posting a monumental 167% increase over the past year. We are looking at a stock that's not just riding the wave, but creating it.
With respect to demand, Blackwell is just such a leap, and there are several things that are happening. Just the foundation model makers themselves, the size of the foundation models are growing from hundreds of billions of parameters to trillions of parameters. They're also learning more languages. Instead of just learning human language, they're learning the language of images and sounds and videos, and they're even learning the language of 3D graphics. And whenever they are able to learn these languages, they can understand what they see, but they can also generate what they're asked to generate. And so they're learning the language of proteins and chemicals and physics. It could be fluids, and it could be particle physics. And so they're learning all kinds of different languages, or learn the meaning of what we call modalities, but basically learn the languages. And so these models are growing in size. They're learning from more data, and there are more model makers than there was a year ago. And so the number of model makers have grown substantially because of all these different modalities. And so that's just one, just the frontier model, the foundation model makers themselves have really grown tremendously. And then the generative AI market has really diversified, beyond the internet service makers to startups, and now enterprises are jumping in, and different countries are jumping in. So the demand is really growing.
The company announced 68 cents in earnings per share, surpassing the expected 64 cents, coupled with an eye-popping $50 billion stock buyback plan. Dan Ives from Wedbush tagged this earnings call as potentially the most significant for the stock market in years. For every $1 spent on an Nvidia GPU, a multiplier effect of $8 to $10 reverberates across the tech sector, comparing Nvidia's impact to oil and gold in today's world. Investing in Nvidia might seem like a no-brainer, but it's also subject to scrutiny. The U.S. Department of Justice has initiated an antitrust investigation, reflecting the complexities of maintaining a dominant market position. Despite this, Nvidia's quarterly figures, 122% revenue surge, a net income more than doubling to $16.6 billion, and a planned $32.5 billion in current quarter revenue, reaffirm its irrefutable growth trajectory. Expectations remain sky-high for Nvidia's next-gen Blackwell chip, poised to hit the market soon. As Nvidia continues to innovate, its other business segments are also showing robust growth. Gaming revenue up by 16%, professional visualization seeing a 20% increase, and automotive and robotics rounding out with impressive results. So what does all of this mean for Nvidia stock investors? The answer is easy, but before going through it, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
All right, let me just inject a note of sanity to pinprick all the insanity about this amazing company. NVIDIA just reported a stupendous quarter. 122% revenue growth, for heaven's sake. Adjusted earnings per share increased 152%. Company announces a $50 billion buyback. $50 billion here, $50 billion there. Come on. Yet it's still seeking in after hours because the expectations got out of hand. Worse, NVIDIA has become overly important to the fate of the entire stock market. That even I, who once named my dog after this company, think it's all gotten to be too much. We know that artificial intelligence is the way of the future. We also know that NVIDIA is the best play on artificial intelligence. In the end, though, NVIDIA has become an albatross around the market's neck because no one stock can be a proxy for the future of the S&P 500. Yet that's exactly what happened as NVIDIA romped from around $500 billion in market cap just 18 months ago to more than $3 trillion now. Maybe after tonight it will shed that millstone, that albatross. You know what? That would be a godsend for all of us. Why is the NVIDIA apotheosis wrong? Because business is a funny thing.
So, what does this all mean for you, the savvy investor? Simply put, Nvidia stands in a class of its own. With record-setting revenues, strategic expansions, and a stronghold in the AI sector, the company is a beacon of future growth. Nvidia is poised to continue its upward trajectory, proving indispensable to tech giants and leading numerous technological advancements. At present, Nvidia's stock remains an exhilarating prospect, showing no signs of cooling down. With forecasts predicting sustained growth, driven by ever-increasing AI demand, there's a compelling case for investing in Nvidia. Holding a position of strength and bolstered by a diversified revenue stream, Nvidia appears to be an excellent addition to any forward-thinking portfolio. As the company ventures into new horizons with products like the highly anticipated Blackwell chips, it's clear that Nvidia is charging ahead, all engines blazing. But what about you? Do you agree with our analysis? Is Nvidia on your investment radar? Or do you have reservations about the AI wave? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's see where this exciting saga takes us next. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.